John's from the US.
Peter's from the UK.
John lives in Krakow.
Peter lives in Warsaw.
We love Poland.
But we're not Polish. We're
Ish. Hello and welcome to Polish, the podcast where two blokes who aren't originally from these parts try to make sense of new lives we've somehow carved for ourselves. This awkward, clipped British tone you're currently hearing belongs to me, Peter McLeod, whilst the confident hybrid Franco-American drawl you'll hear next emits from my Krakow-based co-host, the sidewalk to my pavement, Mr. Jonathan Nett.
Oh my. Peter, these introductions keep getting better and better. I love it.
Well, as many of you may know, my memory isn't what it used to be. Have I done sidewalk to pavement before?
I don't think so. I think this is a relatively new one. So I think we're keeping it.
Fabulous. Good to hear it. Hello, buddy. Welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome. So how are we doing?
We are doing well. I wish you a very happy Easter. How was your Easter weekend?
Oh, it was good. I would say lots of food. We all know that. In Poland, the main question I would like to ask, Peter, how many eggs did you eat?
Well, in England, that question would be how many chocolate eggs did you eat? But this weekend is, of course, all about boiled eggs. This is the time of year when you have to make boiled eggs seem interesting. I have to say it's probably my least favorite cooked egg format.
Yeah.
The answer is several.
Yeah, agreed. Mixed with...
Shan.
Yeah, and the żurek, of course. You
Absolutely, yes.
Got to throw a couple of those in there.
Eggs smuggled into dishes in various ways. And happy Easter, of course, John, to all our listeners who've been celebrating this weekend.
Very much so. Happy Easter to everybody, and how about Schmingus Dingus? I hope I pronounced that correctly. And to those that are participating, good luck out there.
Absolutely, yes. You know, those who are downloading this first thing in the morning get reminded that this is the time, this is the day when the poles splash each other with water in a celebration. I love that.
And age doesn't matter. Age
doesn't matter.
No.
Well, I hope you all spent an excellent time doing whatever you're doing this weekend.
Yeah. Very good.
I saw a funny post on one of the socials, actually, John. There's a Polish lady hurriedly cleaning her windows. I think we talked about that previously, haven't we? That's what Polish people do. Yeah. And she was told that when she was young that Jesus wouldn't rise if windows were dirty.
Right. You have to clean those windows for Jesus. Don't forget.
Oh, clean the windows for Jesus. It's terrible what our parents do to us and our impressionable young brains.
And speaking of which, were you able to clean your windows before Easter?
I've got a handful of excuses why I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
So apologies. Apologies to all of you hoping for the resurrection there. And if it didn't happen, that one's on me and my windows.
I mean, my excuses are quite poor as well. I've got a total of 4 windows, Peter. So if I don't clean these windows, I'm hardly going to make it.
Well, in my Warsaw mansion, there's a lot of glass here. A lot of glass. Oh, I forgot to say.
Tell me.
We have another guest joining us today, shortly.
Oh, and who is this guest?
Well, he's the latest in a long line of people who are absolutely climbing over themselves to grab a slice of Polish airtime. It is, well, actually, some of you may already know him. It's Raf Uzar. He's the host of the excellent My English podcast. If ever any of you have heard that, you'll know what I mean by excellent. It is really very good.
Yeah, I like the mix that they have between English and Polish. I think it's a very nice between the language. I mean, when they're speaking, it's nice. Yep. They have a good balance of that. It's very entertaining.
It really is. So he's not only a wonderful broadcaster, but he's a wit. He's a very funny man. He's a raconteur, but he's also got really strong feelings for Poland and about Poland. And he's a guy who's not shy to express them. So I'm really looking forward to speaking with him and introducing him to you, John. I've only met him once. I must admit, I'm a little bit starstruck. Is it all right to confess that as a 60-something-year-old bloke?
Wow.
Starstruck by Raf?
Wow. Okay, tell us more. Why is that?
I'll tell you what. I'll reveal all in front of Raf.
Okay,
and embarrass him at the same time. But do forgive me if I turn to jelly at the first sound of his voice, John. But you will, I'm sure, remain your usual professional self. And
of course.
when I'm whimpering in the background like an overwhelmed little puppy.
I look forward to this. This is going to be a good episode.
And something I don't want to say to his face is actually right from the point when I was conceiving Polish with you, I identified Raf as my number one guest target when putting this together. So I'm really chuffed he'll be shortly sprinkling some of his stardust onto our conversation.
Wow. Okay. All right. This is going to be an important one.
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Let's
just get on with my Polish thing of the week.
Polish thing of my week.
So, Peter, tell us, what is your Polish thing of the week?
I can't hold it back any longer. I've been so excited to tell you this.
Okay.
Ladies, gentlemen, Pani and Panovia, dear John, it is with the greatest of pleasures that I hereby announce to you that I've only gone and passed my B1 level Polish exam.
Oh,
yes.
Congratulations. Now, this is not only, again, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just a feat for Peter himself, but for all the British people out there. It is possible to learn a second language.
I mean, in my case,
that was a joke towards British people. If anyone's listening,
it's very funny. We I speak 3 languages, but British people don't speak foreign languages. In my case, it was the tallest and hardest hurdle in my journey towards securing Polish citizenship. So,
right, this is quite important.
So it's not only just about those everyday conversations, with the shopkeepers, mechanics, and doctors. Those are really, really important. And from now on, I'm switching my Polish lessons towards those, sort of a more conversational type of learning the language. But this is very much the standard, the state exam standard that you need to have if you want to apply for citizenship and have a Polish passport.
Okay, so this is the level. Congratulations, Peter. So
Thank you.
When will you be applying for the citizenship next?
Okay. There's a couple of routes I can take. We had this conversation with Patrick Ney.
Yes.
He talked about supporting letters. John, supporting letters. Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually discovered there's a little bit of a shortcut. 2 weeks ago, we spoke with Paulina, our immigration lawyer, about the bureaucracy of getting yourself.
There's a pattern. Settled. There's a pattern to all of these episodes. If anyone's listening and keeping track, Peter actually has been scheming this all along.
Next time my car breaks down, we'll be, welcome to the Polish podcast, an Anglo-Polish mechanic. So tell us about aircon systems in the Volvo V60. Yeah.
How does it affect you here in Poland versus?
All I'll say is I'm going to do the channels, and that'll probably take me up to 3 years. But there is a fast track, which is almost like it's called a presidential grant.
Yes.
So I plead my case to the president, or I put forward as eloquently as I can my case in direct in writing to the president, and he's able to grant immediate citizenship and at his discretion.
Okay, great. Yeah. So similar to, as you mentioned, one of our guests had done the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah, that was Patrick. He met the president, and the president said, you should become a Polish citizen. I don't think he actually took that same channel, but
okay.
I would love that to be the case where the president listens to our podcast, and Dzień dobry, pan prezydent, if you are. Kochamy Polskę. Hang on, what's the case for that?
This is crashing and burning.
This is really bad, Right. Let's say that just to put a line under that, my wife thought maybe they'd made some sort of mix up with the papers in the exam room, and so I think she was as surprised as any of us that I got a positive result. But I'm absolutely thrilled.
Okay.
The last exam I passed would have been about 1981. So, what were you doing back then, John?
It's been a while. Yeah, I was still swimming around.
God.
So, yeah. Well, congratulations, and
thank you
again. Keep us posted on future
Absolutely.
episodes.
Thank you, John. And I tell you what, to anyone out there, I've got the brain of an amoeba, and I bloody and the memory of a goldfish. I smashed it in the first attempt. So, to all of you out there kind of holding back, Jonathan Nett, for example, I would highly recommend going for it.
Oh, it's funny. Funny you mentioned that. Real quick, I will say I had a class a few days ago, and this one of the students helped me finally get down this SZ, and CZ
The
or Z.
pronunciation
Sorry,
of those. Yeah, yeah.
and it really isn't so easy, but you get the hang of it.
Yeah, there's subtleties, aren't there?
Mm.
Yeah. Very, very, very subtle.
All
So,
right.
John, what's your thing of the week?
My thing of the week, Peter. This is going to be controversial. So
Oh,
again,
well,
ladies and gentlemen, but this side will be a bit more controversial. Are you ready, Peter?
I'm ready, John.
So I was with my partner. So we were in Italy, in Rome for the first time, and we
Oh,
had a fantastic time. Everything, as most people would say, the architecture, the museums, they're great. They're
mm-hmm.
really, really great. Beautiful city.
Fashion,
Uh-huh.
cars.
And they keep it they really they keep out the skyscrapers and keep the city as in pristine condition as possible, and keep it, how to say, what was the word that you would use, Peter, more to keep it
Low rise?
yeah, well,
Authentic?
yeah, authentic
You
is
can,
a
you
good,
can,
yeah.
certain vistas across Rome, you can imagine how it would have looked 2,000 years ago.
Exactly. So really
Mm.
great. Now the controversial part, I'm thinking that I really thought that everyone told me, you go to Italy, you eat this Italian food,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to change your world. Everything is going to change for the better. But I have to say that the food was still just Italian food. It didn't blow my mind. I've had delicious pizza in Warsaw and Krakow
Mm.
before. So, what do you think, Peter?
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's controversial indeed. It's
Yeah,
usually
yeah,
about food where controversy lies.
yeah,
I would say, I mean, coincidentally, we were we flew into Rome and we were in Italy exactly the same time as you.
yeah,
It's almost the closest we've been, even whilst living in Poland, to each other. But, yeah, I think the experience is that some of those dishes are very simple, but they're uplifted just by very delicious local ingredients.
exactly.
Really, really fine tomatoes
Yeah,
and cheeses and sauces, and the highest quality pasta. And
right.
sometimes a few simple things thrown together with a few bad ingredients that are bought in a supermarket, they're going to taste a bit rotten, but. When you have homegrown
Hmm.
vegetables and just the freshest of ingredients. I
It's
think those dishes are good.
yeah, it's beautiful in the sense that it is simplistic, but as a whole, I think if you told me it was so special, I just would have to kindly disagree. But
Mm.
the food nonetheless was delicious. I just challenge some people to tell me, how could you really explain to me, how special Italian food really is. I would like people to
It'd be great to get people to write in and tell us what they think about Italian
yeah,
food,
yeah.
or even nominate their favorite Italian restaurant in Poland.
Oh,
I'm all for
exactly.
that.
There you go. There you go.
I have to say, John, this is a podcast essentially for expats. I love Italy. I love traveling to
Oh,
Italy.
me
I love
too.
visiting, touring. As we said, the food, the beaches, the weather,
Yeah.
everything, the climate. There's very little not to like about it. But I don't think expat life there would be for me. Um, the
Okay, and why
idea
is that?
I think the idea is kind of living there is kind of often over romanticized. You get
Mhm.
these 30-minute bursts in films that make it look like the ideal life. But I tell you what, try and get a plumber to come at
Oh, yeah.
6 o'clock on a Saturday evening or 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning for that burst pipe, or
Mm,
you've got
mm,
your lights go out. I think the reality is somewhere a little bit detached from
right.
what we experience, perhaps further north, further west,
Mm,
shall we say?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Could very well be. I think that's exactly what happened, and that's often the example I use. When you go to France, you also have this idea, the romantic city, and then some people, when they arrive to Paris, they're often shocked. They're thinking,
Mm,
"Oh my God, the city is, a bit stinky," or the
it's
waiters
stinky.
are kind of jerks. The trip was fantastic. Roman food was fantastic. Oh,
this is
amazing.
this is alternative version B of the podcast. John,
Yes, Peter.
it is now the time for you to ask me.
3 in 10.
Ooh, 3 and 10. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The
Are you
scores
ready?
are standing. I'm ready. The scores are standing at 4-3 to me. Somehow I've turned it round.
Yeah, you did. You did. You certainly did. I would say that. Do you think you will be able to catch up this time around? I'm just curious.
I would like to think so, but I'm pretty sure not. I think all my brain capacity has been taken up with learning Polish to B1 level and successfully passing the exam. Did
Okay.
I mention that before?
you
This
you
is the
sure have, and we're going to hear quite a bit more.
I think so too. This is the section of the podcast where we take turns to ask each other to name 3 things in 10 seconds. John, what have you got for me this week?
Are you ready, Peter?
No.
So you've lived in Poland for how long? Remind us again.
Okay. Well, I've lived here officially for 3.5 years, but I've been visiting for 35 years.
Okay. By definition, you would have had plenty of time to try. I would say various Polish chocolates. Give us 3 Polish chocolates, Peter. Go.
Oh gosh, here we go. There is Wendel. There is Trio. Is it Trio? Oh no. Mozart. Oh.
Are you just saying random? I think you. Okay, so that stung a little bit, but we're
yeah.
What
No, that's good.
You...
That's comedy value. That is. Mozart is a chocolate brand that you can get at Warsaw Airport. I was looking at it yesterday.
And the first one you said, I think you pronounced that a bit like a potato. Say that one again.
Did I say Wendel?
Yeah, I think it's
Wenzel?
I think it's Vidal. Hold on.
Vidal.
Yeah, like Vedel. Yeah.
And what did I say?
Vidal.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and then we also have let's
Trio.
You got to think about the castle in Krakow. Think about that one. That's a popular one. Wawel, of course. Then you got to think about this one. My mom personally loves these. So I won't say the whole name because I don't want to torture our fellow listeners' ears. But the Śliwka. It's like the plum.
Yes. Coated in chocolate.
Oh, this one is so good.
I said Trio, popular. John.
Trio.
Yeah, I just Googled it. Trio is a chocolate bar sold in the United Kingdom consisting of a biscuit. Oh, God.
So I guess that's 1 point for John, isn't it?
I believe it is indeed. And that, of course, makes it 4-4. The loser will actually end up paying some kind of forfeit whereby they have to sing or recite a poem in Polish on the podcast.
And to add a little bit to that, in the future, we were thinking of maybe mixing up our 3 and 10s a little bit. So perhaps we'll go a tad bit outside of Poland, but we'll still try to have some sort of correlation to it. But just prepare yourselves. 3 and 10s might get a little spicier in the future, near future.
Like all international travelers, we'll step outside the country, but we'll always love coming back here.
Absolutely.
Right, enough of this nonsense. Let's unwrap the delicious Easter egg that awaits us in the form of Raf Uzar. Join us after this short break. Welcome back to part 2 of Polish, and those watching us on video will notice we've been joined by the smiling features of our guest today. This is where you smile, Raf. It's the Warsaw-based communicator, I don't know how to describe you, broadcaster, content creator, and wearer of many other hats. It's Raf Uzar. Hi, Raf. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. I feel honoured and welcomed and all lots of warm, nice English adjectives. Thank you for that.
It's lovely to have you here. May I introduce you to my very good buddy, John?
Hello, buddy John.
Well, hello, buddy Raf.
You are a rarity amongst Americans in that you are a Jonathan with an H and not with a lack of non-aspirated H.
Yeah. It's a weird one, isn't it? But
in other words, he's also a typical American, is that he can't spell.
Yeah, exactly, Peter. He says,
Well, the most bizarre one I saw recently was Jonathan, but spelt with the N and the H flipped round. Jonathan.
Jonathan.
John Hutton.
Yeah. We were talking
was-
before the break how parents mess us up, and I think, that's a good example of that.
That was
I was also saying before the break there, I'm a little bit starstruck because Raf,
Stop
your voice is I don't know, I kind of fit into the Raf Uzar superfan category for several reasons, but your voice was kind of familiar to me from when I was in Poland during lockdown. I haven't really lived in Poland. I've been coming here for many years, but week here, week there during lockdown, living here, and then your voice cracked across the airwaves on a Sunday morning on a radio show called Bed and Breakfast, which you
Lovely.
co-hosted with Agnieszka. And now you've grown that into the podcast,
Yes.
which is a wonderful thing. And,
Thank you.
It's kind of, how can I say it without coming over a little bit too...
he's been excited for this for the last
Oh,
hour. So yeah.
So nice of you, really.
Yeah. Well, it's just that it was Bed and Breakfast actually was one of the sort of light bulb moments when I was thinking, oh, there's an English guy. Oh, he's moved to Poland. Oh, he's got a life here. Oh, he's got a good life here. And it kind of, at that
You
point,
don't know that.
well, you gave a very good impression that
I live under a bridge in a box.
Yeah, I know, but it's a lovely Polish bridge.
It's a Polish box.
Thank
you for those words.
Gave the sort of inspiration that it's possible to do, and here I am, a few years down the line.
Lovely.
Yeah. So tell us about, I tried to describe you in the intro. Who the hell are you, Raf?
That's a horrible question to answer. It really
Thank
is.
you.
Who
I
are
take that
you?
it's take that as a compliment.
Metaphysical question I've been asking for the past 50 years, and I've still
Who is
don't have
anyone?
the answer. Precisely. There's a psychological test that psychologists do, surprisingly, and they say take 5 of your friends or take 10 of your friends and let them describe you in 3 words, which I've done. So I'll answer that question through the words of my friends.
Fantastic.
Funny, the top 3, and I'm not prepared for this. I just remember funny, warm, and intelligent. Apparently.
Oh.
So, but I am a communicator. I've been working in I began in linguistics. I'm a trained linguist. I'm a trained corpus computational linguist. I studied in the UK, and I studied linguistics at Lancaster, which is one of the premier linguistics departments in the country, in the world at one stage. I think it still is.
Okay.
So I was always fascinated by languages, and being brought up semi-Polish, because my parents are kind of Polish. My mum,
Polish, would you say?
Polish.
What do you mean
that?
kind
See
of
what I
Polish?
did just then?
Yeah.
That was very, very good. My dad was born in Uganda, and of Polish heritage, and he ended up in England because it was a British colony. So he moved to England after the war. He was officially a displaced person. So he was a refugee. Basically. So he came to England with nothing, literally. He lived in a metal shed with lots of other displaced people for many years of his life. My mother moved from Poland to England just to visit her auntie. Her uncle fought in the Battle of Britain, and she went to visit them. And she met my father, and they fell in love, and they stayed, and out. My brother popped, and then I popped some years later. And so I've always had this fascination, if you like, for languages, and it just stayed with me. I did lots of theatre stuff when I was a kid.
There we go. There's the sort of the broadcast qualities coming through there.
It's an odd one, because now when I think about it, I hate it. I think I'm a crypto introvert, actually, that's been forced into extroversion by circumstance, if you like. So I think, what's known as an ambivert. I'm comfortable in my own source, if you like. And I just kind of moved into it. And I was, after coming to Poland, I spent some time academically in universities. And I was asked by, I think at the time it was Euro or BIS, Radio BIS, Polskie Radio, could you come in and do a slot with us? And I was like, yeah, great. And they paid me for it. Well, actually, no, I don't think they did at the time. So I just did this thing called Strefa Rafa, with Justina Meiszak, who was a wonderful journalist, wonderful girl. And I did that. I just talked idioms and stuff on radio. And
This is it. It's just sort of speakers of English as a second language, effectively.
yes, that's right. It was like a little mini English language slot, part of the international thing, because at the time, Polskie Radio BIS, which is now Czwórka, was called Euro in preparation for the Ukraine-Poland Euros. So they changed the name for the Euros. It was called Euro. So we did lots of international multi-culti stuff. And I just had a slot. And then they liked it, so they offered me a show later on. And that's what Peter mentioned in the bed and breakfast, and it just built from there. And then thanks to radio, and radio was a lovely, lovely platform to start off with.
And how old were you when all this started?
I was 68.
Wow!
Don't ask me
quite
questions. Don't ask me questions about age. I have no idea. I literally have no idea.
He's
I have
words,
no idea
man,
about dates.
not a numbers man.
Just thrown in there. Yeah.
No, literally. I mean, you asked my birthday, and I would need a good 5-10 minutes to think about how old I am. I literally, it's not that it's something I've ever contemplated. It was a good couple of years. It was like probably about 15 years ago now, John. Probably about 15 years ago. And so that led to many, many other opportunities. Thanks to that, I also worked for the European Film Academy, which was an amazing experience, where I did voiceover work for the European Film Academy Awards. And I did some post-production work afterwards, and that was wonderful. That was got to meet lots of famous people, worked with incredible professionals. I mean, Jonathan, just incredible professionals, like sound engineers at the very top of the game. I worked with a guy called Richard Alsop, who I love to bits, who taught me professionalism. I worked in academia, and I learned so much from him, how to treat other people. So I'd be in a booth recording a particular voiceover for now accepting the awards is whoever.
Oh, yes.
And I would be there with a microphone, never done it before in my life. We've never done this kind of work before. And Roger would say, Raf, that was superb. Let's try it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was basically saying, that was fucking dreadful.
Awful.
Let's do it again. But just the way he did it was super professional. And I found out later that Roger had been the sound engineer on Top of the Pops in the UK for the Rolling Stones, the first time they were actually on the Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
So he had done so much quality work with so many quality people, and I just felt touched that he would offer these wise words. So that was something that I learned, that not only in broadcasting, but just treat people with a bit of respect. Just be nice to people. It does serve.
Absolutely. Did you ever expect to get to where you are, or did all of this just sort of happen out of random, and it just kept going? The momentum kept going.
That's a really, really good question, John. Really, really, really good question. No, not at all. I mean, I've always kind of inherently believed that I'll be okay. I've always believed that I'd be okay, and I've had situations where things have not been good, and I've always kind of had a deep, deep, deep belief that it'll all come good. And I suppose, no, I can't say that I've expected. I'm pretty poor in terms of planning anyway, so I'm a pretty poor planner. So I'd say that I'm very, very grateful for what I have. But did I expect it? No, not at all. I thought things would come good, whatever that may mean.
This is the fun stuff, though, isn't it? What we're doing, this
Very
aspect
much
of your
so. Very
professional
much
life,
so.
but it's not it's not necessarily your day job, though, is it?
That's right. So I do other bits and bobs in terms of communication and marketing. Marketing is all about communication.
Yeah.
So communication is my core thing, if you like.
Okay.
I like your the fact that you're actually when you come across when I've listened to you on the radio, on the podcast, you're very you never hold back. You're very honest. Very. I get the impression that it's definitely coming from the heart.
I think so. I don't know how to qualify that really, Peter.
You seem like a genuine person with genuine, heartfelt views, and you're not shy to express them.
I think there's so much, Peter, and you certainly see it because you're a cross-border person,
Mm-hmm.
and especially when you function between cultures, being genuine really transcends language,
Mm.
transcends culture. I lived in Japan, which I know that we've discussed with Peter, and the cultural barriers there are so. Um, I don't want to say strong, but they are so
Clearly
pronounced.
defined.
Clearly defined. That's
Mm.
right. So being genuine, of course, has its downsides as well, especially in Japan, where you say what you think, and you're not necessarily allowed to say what you think because you cannot say no. For example, no is a bad word. Which, again, this is something that I picked up in Japan. I remember when I asked my sensei, if you like, tutor, my mentor, I said, I want to go on holiday with my friend to Okinawa. Is that okay? And he's like, let me think about that. And this went on for a week. Interesting question. And he never said no. But I learned afterwards that, by not saying that yes means no. But it's also a
Right.
nice social function in that people don't necessarily get into arguments, but they're more pensive and contemplative about discussion, if you know what I mean. It's like, well, no, that's a great question there, Jonathan. Let me consider.
This topic is super interesting because I would say what I really, hold value though to in Polish culture though is how sometimes though direct they are.
Oh, yes.
And I do have a lot of respect to that though. I like when they don't like something. Oh, they'll tell you.
Yes. It's like Spain, isn't it? And you got the axis of Spain and Finland. I mean, I heard the story when Big Brother appeared, and they did it in Spain, and they stopped her after a week because everyone wanted to kill themselves. In Finland, they stopped her after a week because nobody spoke to each other. So you got this, and we're all the same. We're all made of flesh and bone. Yet the cultural differences are so pronounced. So going back to the question, Peter, I think it's nice to speak from the heart because people do see it. I think people notice it. Not to harp on about that because I don't think it's necessarily worthy of harping on.
Well, we've done a whole episode on Polish manners and customs, and how expats can quite easily trip up on some of them. I suppose being brought up in a Polish-ish household.
Do you have any examples of that were particularly?
I think at the time we were talking about the sort of classic sort of slippers being offered.
Right.
Don't refuse food or drink when offered because it would offend, and sort of general
you have
around
to drink when offered a vodka.
Yeah, which was the downfall at my wedding, which I don't remember, but my wife reminds me.
And I'm sure a lot of videos were taken and recorded.
Yes, video hadn't been invented back then, John.
I remember being at a party once and getting into such an argument with this guy because I refused to drink because I like to have an occasional drink, but I was with my kids. And I said, and I have this thing that I do not drink, especially when they're young. I will not drink in front of them, especially when they're small and I'm looking after them. And I'm like, not. Oh no, but there's lots of women, as he said, to look after them. I'm not interested in that. I'm their father. I'm looking after them. I will, and we literally nearly ended in fisticuffs because he was trying to force it down me. I'm like, no, F off,
Peer pressure is never good,
It was so incredibly strong as well, and I'd never come across that in Poland before, and this was really in your face, and I was like, no.
Was that being out in a village more than in the city?
It was literally in a village. It was this machismo of you have to drink with the boys.
Because Peter says, as far as his wedding, but I've had a couple beers with Peter. He'll talk to himself and say, "Are you sure another beer? Okay, sure." And so I know this.
I don't remember a thing about that, John. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes. Terrible slight of character there.
Absolutely. Because I've got the privilege of editing the podcast, that's never going to make it. It isn't.
Superb. Can I ask you a question, guys?
Of course.
Please.
What was your inspiration for doing this?
The podcast?
What was your raison d'être, but do you have like a core belief that you have that lies behind this.
Be very interested to hear John's answer first.
Yeah, I'll piggyback because I do have an answer, but Peter, you're the one that
Excellent.
obviously had the idea.
My wife recalls that I woke up one morning saying, "I've got an idea for a podcast."
Oh,
I think
great.
take it sort of further back from that. John and I used to play squash twice a week when John lived in Warsaw, and then he moved to Krakow, and I missed him. And we missed each other. We weren't really
nice.
in contact enough to, we were just starting to hit it off as buddies. And one of the principal reasons behind it was this is a good chance for me to catch up with John on a weekly basis. And I've said before, I don't mind if we record it or not. It's a great success either way.
Oh, that's great.
And to sort of add, Raf, because asking if you knew the direction you were going, or did things just sort of happen here and there and you just sort of went with it? Well, with Peter, if you would have asked me a year and a half ago, this guy you're going to randomly meet from Facebook, expats in Warsaw, you're going to play squash with, and
that's great.
And then have a
and he's twice your age.
Yeah, I would say you're crazy, you're mad. That would never happen. But
I love stories like that. It's incredible. It's like an old man. It's incredible the people you meet on the way. I met my wife when I was
But we have similar experiences, but they're also quite diverse in terms of our own personal setups as well. But the similarities are we're both English speakers who are coming to settle in a world of clusters of consonants that are impenetrable to the outsider. And then the differences are I'm sort of more mature in terms of age, if not behavior.
It's true.
And with a kid, a bilingual kid as well. I'm married, and John actually, when we met, was single, and had his experience and interface with Polish life was somewhat different to mine. And I think John, we've probably both lived lives as expats. John in France, US, well, not necessarily expats, but has international lives, and Norway as well, and myself coming from London into Amsterdam. So we kind of bring experiences with us as well, and but again, it goes back to the fact that I think John and I got good chemistry. If we can replicate some of the chemistry that you and Agnieszka show on my English podcast, then if we can just get a little bit of that magic, we'd be very, very happy.
You mentioned Norway and you mentioned Krakow, and did I tell you my Norwegians in Krakow story?
No.
Not on the record, at least.
To kind of put Poland in context now, which I find this. It was a real mind fuck. I don't know if we can swear.
We can say that.
Mind fuck.
I do have a really good. I do have a really good bleep that that I've got for the purpose of.
I was in a queue buying ice cream in Krakow, and I hadn't been there for many, many years, and I saw two beautiful young people buying ice cream and speaking pretty crappy Polish. They clearly weren't Poles.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, this is interesting. And I was like watching them intensely, thinking, "Oh, this is great." Firstly, foreigners speaking Polish is a big, big deal, because generally when you or I, or when we go back to England or the States, you hear many foreigners speaking the language, tourists speaking the language of their destination language, and that's normal. But hearing tourists speaking Polish has kind of shown how far Poland has come, where tourists are now respecting Poland so much so that they're actually trying to speak the language. So they're there, and I'm trying to work out the accent. I can't work out the accent. This is English I can do, but Polish, for foreigners speaking Polish, I can't work out the original language. So I have this like linguistic little task in my head, like, where are they coming from? And then they pull out their Visa card or whatever it was. It was a Norwegian. It was a Norwegian bank. I thought, wow, Norwegian tourists that have come to Poland that have made an effort to learn Polish, so much so that they could speak. They say hello. They couldn't say strawberry chocolate ice cream, but they could say to i to poproszę. And I thought that was incredible. That would have never happened 5 years ago. Never.
Yeah. Yeah. And now I really want to hear that, because I know in Norway when they speak, it's sort of a song, right? So I just imagine when they're greeting, would it be something like "Dzień dobry," like a little up and down?
It's a nuts language, isn't it? It's a weird language.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Midorsken bokmol. Oh, it's a bizarre language, but
yeah.
I guess you're easing into Poland, Rafa, slightly, atypical for an expat because you spoke Polish at home.
Yes, I did. But when I came here in '97, I think it was.
Oh, you do numbers.
Yes, I suppose I do. It was a cultural bomb. It was
You
a
could say
shock. I mean,
before it was fashionable.
I arrived in Łódź, and people thought I was absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
People literally thought I was a head case.
Well, you've told some great stories about your Łódź life on my English
God,
podcast.
People
Malcolm
just
McLaren being one of them.
Yes, a lovely little adventure there. But it was really, really tough because people really did think I mean, I realized that my Polish wasn't very good when I got there, when I got there, because it was heavily accented and my vocabulary was, if you like, frozen from the 1940s, 50s that the ex-Polish community were using, these post-war guys. So they'd say things like servus for teść, which nobody uses now.
Which would be more like a sort of, was that like a military kind of greeting? Or?
Yeah, but it was very common in the 40s and 50s, but you would never say that now.
Interesting.
I can't even think of the equivalent in English, really. Howdy doody or something like that.
Hail.
I suppose. Hail.
Yeah. And how many years did it take for you to finally feel comfortable to have a
I still
decent
don't feel
conversation?
comfortable. I still
Really?
don't yeah. I still
Great. I look forward to it.
I really don't feel comfortable at all. Maybe it's because of my linguistic background. I kind of still I see
striving to achieve more.
I'm not, even though I've worked within, if you like, an analytical domain, because I've worked in analytics, computation corpus linguistics, but very briefly. I've worked in learning and development. I've done analytics there. I'm not an analytical person, so I'm not. I know people who have learnt Polish purely very, very mathematically, analytically. They've learnt the grammars. Probably you gentlemen have. I've never done that because I picked it up as a kid, but I'm aware of many, many grammatical mistakes I still make, even though people say, "Oh, you speak perfect Polish." I realize, though, when I teach, how important pronunciation is. So people wanting to speak good English and people wanting to speak good Polish or Japanese or whatever it is, pronunciation is the key. I've noticed, because you go to England, you go to London, you go to New York, and there's a myriad different accents. But if somebody's speaking really fluently and the pronunciation is pretty good, you won't notice it. But if somebody's making like horrific grammatical errors, then straight away you pick it up. Sorry, you'll pick it up only if the pronunciation is poor.
Okay.
So it's like, hello, how to like you, oh my God. But if he's like, it's like, my dialect, Derbyshire, when I was a kid, we would say, I were going. We were, so was and were always flipped in my particular dialect. And that was normal. But, a Londoner wouldn't notice it. Because you spoke the same, in effect. So I think pronunciation is so important.
Yes.
And I agree, especially in Polish. I was just speaking to Peter about the C, Z versus the, what was it?
CZ, SZ.
Yeah. And for me, it sounds exactly the same because I'm untrained to this. But for Polish, they could hear from, I was about to say a mile, but let's go to kilometers here.
Let's call it 1.6 kilometers.
1.6 kilometers away. Yeah.
Well, it's like, the Spanish VB, they don't hear the distinction, do they? Bishop or bishop. It's like, to them it sounds the same, but every language has these, wonderful sounds that are seemingly interchangeable for us, but they're
Yeah.
not at all, are they?
No, it's certainly, we've said it many times before. The ability to communicate with local people opens them up, and sometimes you'd think,
Yes.
oh, that person, maybe a year ago I would have thought that person isn't very communicative with me, but now I'm going into the same situations and thinking it was quite easy to unlock that person's
Well,
kindness.
your Netherlands, Peter, is a
Yeah.
great example. I mean, the Dutch people are like seemingly super warm and nice, but they'll never let you in their home.
No.
But if you speak Dutch, they're completely they just open
Okay.
up. It's a
Yes.
completely different level, and everybody has the PR machine that is the liberal approach to the liberalism of Holland, Netherlands, and the liberalism of Scandinavia. Seemingly open, lovely people, but there is a wall, that linguistic wall, if you like, and if you
Yes.
speak it, they're so different. They accept you. They invite you into their homes, and they're so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Which is the opposite of Poland, isn't it? Strangers will just let you in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to actually jump on that, because that would be a question I had, is what is one Polish
Jump on a
idea?
stranger.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. But I would say an idea perspective you wish people had or paid more attention to, but doesn't in Poland. Like, what is something you were excited about the tourists, for example, speaking Polish?
Right.
What's another one you wish wasn't, such a stereotype or misconception? But
I think the stereotypes have changed a lot. What they say. The conqueror always, writes the rules, and Western Europe or the Western civilization has very much fashioned out this vision that we have of the world. Whether it's Poland or the Czech Republic or Russia or Iran or Israel, for example. What always irks me is, talking of Iran and Israel, is the attitude that people have or had about the Nazi German death camps, and there was kind of culpability attached.
The culpability that was attached to the
Poland.
Poles because they're geographically located in this region,
which I think was terrible. And yes, Poles. The Jan Gross, his books were superb, which opened up the field to talk about how many Poles were culpable or who aided the Nazis. But the fact of the matter is, the German nation committed this crime on Polish soil mainly, and so that's always irked me because I have a lot of friends who are Israeli Jewish, and the culture is so similar.
Oh, really?
Israelis and Poles go well together. I mean, Israelis are really, really pragmatic. I love working with them professionally because they're so pragmatic. They'll cut to the chase in the same way that Polish people will be very honest about something. And in a business context, it's really interesting because I'm more British in my business aspect, if you like. But when you see Poles and for example, Americans love working together because Americans are super hardworking. We have the least number of holidays in the world. Poles are the same. They don't have a lot of holidays. They're workaholics, and the Americans work well with the Poles. And the Israelis as well have this pragmatic work ethic, and I think that's something which I've always believed that Poles and Israelis and Poles could do so much together because there's so much shared cultural heritage. So that's always, to answer your question, John, that's always irked to me that this tag has never. It's like Germany did their bet, and thank you very much. We've paid all the reparations, thank you very much, and then all the shit's been thrown at Poland now. And they're always, and whenever I take Israelis or people around Warsaw, they are really affected by what they see, in terms of what happened after the war. And I've taken loads of British and American friends around and Israeli friends, and they're really, really touched by what they see here. And it's testament to the hard work that people have put in to rebuilding the country. and one thing, if you like, that Germany did after the war, they I don't know if it was Willy Brandt, but I think they paid off Israel X amount of dollars for never using the word German and Nazi together after the war.
Oh,
Which is fair enough. It was a
yeah.
policy. So they said,
Yeah.
you just say, so you use the word Nazi, don't use the word German in that
Mhm.
context. And this is that homework that Poles never did after the war. They never worked to build or rebuild Israeli relations that Germany did. And so you look when you take a long-term, perspective, you see so many things that could have happened but Poland's doing so well. So if you ask about stereotypes, I think the vodka stereotype has disappeared.
Yeah, I
Although
agree.
there's a lot of Poles who went over to England who kept to that stereotype.
Yeah.
The Polish jokes thing, I think that was still quite rife a couple of years ago in England.
Mhm.
But I think Poland's done, economically, Poland's doing so well. So stereotypes are, they're caused by so many factors,
Yeah.
They
and the
come
only
and
people
go.
who can repair that or change that are Polish people. So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
their job, isn't it, to try and improve that. It's
Yeah.
doing well, though, I think.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, because I was thinking another question was also, now do you think Poland is just going to keep growing and growing as far as the economy, as far as
Well,
where's that going, or in your opinion?
the the rise and fall of the Roman Empire,
Mm,
isn't it?
mm,
Nothing ever lasts forever. You look at who would have thought we'd be where we are now. I mean, I am a passionate believer in the European Union project.
mm.
When I was here when Poland joined NATO, I was here when Poland joined the European Union, and to think how far it's come.
Yeah, in such a short
I
time.
I
Yeah.
love the European Union. The whole point of the European Union was never again. It was that motto,
Mhm,
never again. I
mhm,
mean, my grandma lost her husband and 4 kids in the war. So it was something which was very
mhm,
tangible when I
mhm.
was growing up because she was always talking about the war. And I think you're the same, Peter. You're of a
Mm.
generation that the war was. We watched war films as kids.
Yeah, yeah.
The war,
It was fed to us as propaganda almost.
yeah. But in yes, John Wayne and all that kind of stuff, and
Mm.
The Great Escape, which I watched again 2 days ago. One of my favorite war films.
Yeah.
But we watched them because we loved our heroes, because heroes were definitely needed post-war.
Yeah.
But we watched it to say never again. And I think the war is so distant a memory now that people have forgotten how fucking dreadful war is. It's just, how can you ever want to have war? So I think I'm not sure if I'm answering the question, but I would love to think that if you ask if Poland's going to keep on going, I'd love to think so. But things ebb and flow, of course. And who would have thought that Britain would be outside of Europe? I mean,
All right.
that
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just bizarre. I find it completely absurd that
Mhm.
Poland is in the European Union and England is not. The
Uh-huh.
UK,
How
that
things
doesn't
have
make
turned on their
sense.
heads.
Sure.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I mean, there's even talk of Canada wanting to join.
What? The
It's a
EU?
serious question. Ukraine and Canada could be the next.
Oh,
And so, if
all
the
right.
UK leaves, is that so absurd that
Mm.
Canada suddenly joins? I mean,
I guess
why not? So I think you talk about long time in history terms, and the is it the Vedic stories or
Mm.
whatever talk about these huge swathes of these arcs of time, and I think we've gone past our peak golden period, and I think
Yeah.
we are in a slump. I think we
Okay.
are, because you talk to young people, and there are a lot of young people who their views I find frightening.
Okay.
I won't call myself an uber bedwetting lefty, but I am certainly of a liberal approach
Mhm.
in the pure meaning of liberal, and I believe that tolerance of your fellow man has to be it's the highest value. It's the
You
highest
should never let
value.
go of that.
Never. And I make a point of being nice to people. Because it's the least that you can do. I mean, I think there's an American, I can't remember who did it. The American guy told me about it. Well, you go into a coffee shop line, and you try a nice thing, do a nice thing for the day. Just look at the end. If you're at the front of the queue, buy the person at the end of the queue a coffee, and then you just see their reaction. You can make somebody's day. I know it's banal and it's cliched, but so going back to your question about these, if Poland's going to do well, I think it will keep growing for a number of years. But I think Europe and the West are definitely in a downturn. And my hope is that we will not go with the flow. We will not say, "Oh yes, that's the way everybody's going. Let's do the same." I don't want to get too political, but
but it's great to hear. Yeah.
I think so. For a podcast that promises entertainment, I think talking about death camps and politics is always lands very well, doesn't it?
They are very, very, very much intertwined, though, aren't they?
Aren't they just?
Yeah. It's if every person in that chronological arc said no, then maybe the death camps would have never happened.
I'd like to think so.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Sorry to get so deep.
No, that was good. Awesome. I loved it.
And cut. We're going to chop this interview in half. You know what? It's going to come back in the form of a bonus episode landing this Thursday. So listen out for part 2 of Jonathan, Peter, and Raf in conversation. And until then, write to me at
peter@pol-ish.eu
or visit our website at John. Oh, very good. I like the silence there.
pol-ish.eu.
And until then, I just want you to remember that we're not Polish, to be honest. We're actually Pole-ish.